Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring DoW2 Retribution. And oh man, I know it's been almost 2 months since I did my last cast. Shameful display, if I say so myself. Just when I was starting to get a nice schedule going, doing 3 games a week, some stuff went down. The game studio I was working for, Big Huge Games, shut down and kind of collapsed upon itself like a dying star. And just a lot of other life stuff that came up that was keeping me away from casting. Just took a lot of time and stress and all that fun stuff. Anyways, things are coming back together. I've got some time now, ready to put my casting hat back on and get going here. I don't actually have a casting hat. Maybe I should get one. That would be fun. And don't forget, while I'm not casting, there's a few other guys to keep an eye open for. Mr. Steve Butt, of course, does some games here and there. And don't forget about Mr. Indrid over at DoW2 Replays Net. Man, go check him out if you haven't, because that guy is the man. For all the time that he's been casting, a long time now, well over a year, I'm pretty sure. He's just been constantly doing 3 games a week at least, and just always on top of the casting, man. Definitely one of the guys I used to watch before I started casting myself, so check him out. He's a great caster, and just been helping support the community for a long time. I love promoting other casters, man. What else has been going on since all that? Oh, I'm up over 1,000 subscribers now. Thanks to all you viewers, man. You guys kept watching, kept subscribing, kept leaving comments, sending messages, sending games. A few of you actually even sent me some nice little hope things are okay and stuff like that when you heard about BHG closing down, because I know I have mentioned that I worked there before, so I really appreciate that. All you guys, all you viewers, fans, and subscribers, whatever, you guys are the best, and all the more reason I want to get back to casting again. Still intending to do a Commander Spotlight series and things like that, if you guys are still interested. Maybe I'll do like a little get to know your caster like Q&A thing too, because I do get like a lot of little random questions and stuff like that from you guys from time to time. And oh man, there was a Steam sale a couple weeks back, so that was awesome. We're back up to 2,000 or 3,000 players on peak time, so hopefully some of those will be getting off campaign soon and getting into the multiplayer some more. So if you see them hanging around on general chat asking questions or getting confused and frustrated by this game, does have kind of a harsh learning curve sometimes for people that aren't familiar with it. Help them out, be supportive. That's how we keep players in the community. Be you know, just be a good community. Don't be jerks. But anyways, I don't know, enough of my rambling. It's been way too long since we've done this. Let's get this show on the road. As you can see, we're back to everyone's favorite Green Tooth Gorge. Lots of garrisons in this map. Luckily, we have Eldar and Imperial Guard, so neither race too hindered by that kind of play. In the blue corner, let's see if I'm still on my casting game here. It's been a while. Mr. RUW DSM playing the Inquisitor for the Imperial Guard, one of the most feared members in all of the Imperial Guard army. And in the red corner, Mr. Catakill Termy, but not Plague. Please buff. Don't worry, I'm kidding. That's not his real name. This is Giddolo, if you're familiar with him, a very solid Eldar player, playing the Warlock here. And we're going to just go ahead. So right now we've got Eldar and Imperial Guard. A pretty tough matchup for Eldar, actually, for anyone that plays Eldar this early game versus Imperial Guard. Looks like, there we go, Giddolo was a few seconds off getting started here. And that Warlock hits the fleet of foot and charging right into the center. And in the germinal stages here, we see some Guardsmen and some Banshees coming on the field. That's pretty surprising. Normally don't see Banshees played against Imperial Guard. Inquisitor running around, engaging. We've got the Witch versus the Warlock here in the center, kind of dancing around each other. Both players hitting their primary power nodes right now. And after a little waltz, a little samba here in the center, a little dancing back and forth, looks like the Warlock decided he's not going to waste the time and engage that Inquisitor. Wants to stay on the field and get some capping done. And it looks like Mr. DSM is going to go ahead and get some early VP pressure on that Eldar, knowing that he does have the advantage in the Tier 1 game, especially once this Sentinel comes out and starts harassing Guardians and things like that. Gonna try to get that VP point down because Eldar does have that infamously strong map control, especially once they get into Tier 2 and start getting their leaders and upgrades on the field against these Imperial Guard players. So sounds like we've got some sort of engagement. Looks like the Warlock captured that power node just in time before the Sentinel came around. Got the cap and popped that power cap. Sentinel now has to decide whether it's worth the time to kind of sit here and blast this down, or whether they should go around and start harassing some of these Guardians, wherever they're at. There they are. Guardians up here, Guardsmen down here. That's always going to confuse me. Warlock heading into the center. Looks like the Sentinel's going to go ahead and hang around, make sure that that requisition that Giddolo used on that power node is going to be wasted. So anyways, Guardians hopping into that garrison, actually going to be able to hold out there for a while, especially with that second squad coming around to scare off those Guardsmen and the Inquisitor. In the meantime, Warlock's trying to get some shots off on these Guardsmen and chop up a couple of them while he's got the chance. Goes ahead and tags one of them, but he's not going to be able to stay around too long for that Sentinel pouring fire into him as the Guardsmen kite. A special attack, unfortunately timed, and here comes a Hammer of the Witches. Goes down while he's on retreat, doesn't do too much damage, but pretty solid all around. Shuriken platform already on the field here, pouring some shots into those Guardsmen, but it looks like they're going to get out of that arc just in time. The Inquisitor actually probably going to be able to close. Yes, she does redirect and head over to that Shuriken cannon before it gets set up. And now these Guardsmen are going to have free reign to take out this fully upgraded power farm. You can see DSM still doesn't have anything up himself, going straight for Catachan Devils actually. So he needs to take out this power farm to keep up in tech, because both players have now spent 30 power, but there's a full power farm up and no generators up on the other side. The Guardians rather, down bottom, still running around capping, getting harassed by that Sentinel now. Unfortunately, the Inquisitor backed off of that Shuriken cannon for some reason and is allowing it to get set up. So looks like Giddolo is going to be able to hold on to his power farm for a little while longer, and that's exactly what Giddolo was hoping for. Here comes a nice setup by the Shuriken, suppresses both squads of Guardsmen. Excellent play right there. The two Guardian squads do have to retreat under fire from that Sentinel. And you can see Giddolo is just playing very non-aggressive, defending that power farm. Of course, using this Warlock out on his own to just cap map and keep that map control going. 500 points still on the board for Mr. DSM, so Giddolo wants to try to get at least some of that down right now. Evens out the VPs and calls it at that. Doesn't want to leave the Warlock around too long. Catachan's on the field now, taking a few quick pot shots at that Warlock, doing some pretty significant damage with their current, with the buff they received recently, being down to just the 5 members. You can see they've already got their Demolition Man, that's why they're up to 6. But, oh man, we can see Giddolo already streaming ahead here into Tier 2 right now. Inquisitor, in the meantime, getting Interrogator's armor. DSM spent quite a bit more power than Giddolo. Giddolo playing very minimalistic tech for Tier 1. Only spent power, actually, on that Shuriken weapons team. There goes the Move Silently ability. I believe that's what it's called. Yes, silently. Not move silently, just simply silently. Catachan's moving silently in on this Shuriken platform. Very dangerous right now for the Shuriken platform. Oh man, and with a couple quick swings, it looks like, oh, there goes one member. That Shuriken has to retreat rather quickly, and now this power farm's in a little bit of trouble. Warlock's still running around on the backfield, trying to cap up that requisition. You can see, just looking at the map right now, that DSM has a lot more map control. Gonna be getting both of these VPs right here and has all of his rear rec points captured, and one of Giddolo's over here. So now putting some serious pressure on that power farm while Giddolo heads into Tier 2. He's gonna have to hope that works out for him and gets an early Tier 2 unit onto the field and can really kind of push this map back, because right now his power farm is getting smashed. Shuriken platform is set up. Inquisitor stealthed herself with her Interrogator's armor and now moving in on that Shuriken platform. So now these Guardsmen and Sentinel and also the Catachan is going to be able to just go ahead and wipe this power farm right off of the map. Looks like DSM finally has his generators up as well. Warlock going to be able to capture one of those points, but 487 to 365, down by 100 VPs. Has the tech advantage though, so we'll have to see if Giddolo can turn this around. Catachan stealth again, getting an explosive shot off on that squad, and those two Guardians are not going to be able to take out those Catachans before they cause some serious hurt to that Shuriken platform. Moved them in a bit too aggressively though, but it doesn't matter because the power farm is down. Looks like they're going to be able to get a decap as well. Oh man, Inquisitor tried to get in and melee that Shuriken, but instead just took a face full of platform fire right there. Guardians, unfortunately, not just going to be able to stand up to that on their own, though. 2 squads of guardsmen, both with sergeants, I believe, and that sentinel. Not a good winning scenario for Guardians. Anyways, Warlock's still running around, very low on health, but staying on the field. Good choice because it's been working out. And now both players with an extra power generator on their secondary farm. But DSM does have his normal farm up completely while Giddolo lost his. So having the VP advantage and now catching up in TEP. DSM's got to hit tier 2 here soon, though. He's kind of letting it slip a little there. Letting his economy macro a little bit slip out of control there. There goes the tier 2 shot, and Wraithguard on the field. Very effective against both guardsmen and catechins, everything, so long as they can see him coming. Of course, with that Interrogator's armor, DSM's kind of daring. Oh man, look at that booby trap! Just obliterating a couple of those shuriken weapon cannon teams. Meanwhile, Wraithguard blowing up some extra power over here on this side of the map. As I was saying, that Interrogator's armor kind of daring Giddolo to get some rangers or something to be able to detect the catechins or the Inquisitor when they're running around stealth. So we'll have to see how that works out. Looks like Giddolo's losing his secondary power farm as well. I can hear some Wraithguard shots going down somewhere. Oh yeah, there's some bits right there, some guardsmen. Inquisitor moving in stealth again, trying to get in. Looks like that squad still has its Warlock. I thought it had disappeared there for a second. It was just hiding behind one of the members of the Wraithguard squad. And DSM has tons and tons of wreck heading into tier 2. Gonna have plenty of power as well to buy whatever he wants as soon as he hits that tech level. So looking a little rough actually right now for Giddolo. These Guardians still unupgraded. Gonna be taking some shots from that Sentinel. Managed to fall back before losing any members. And the Inquisitor stealthing herself again, pretty much negating this this shuriken weapon team. Got a little too close there. You never want to click. Little reminder: you never want to click on the platform team, even if you have a melee unit, because that melee unit will use her sidearm. If you saw right there, she fired her plasma pistol on approach and revealed herself, and that's why that shuriken weapons team was able to fire on her. Always just click behind the platform and then click to attack. That way you don't reveal yourself with your sidearm. So, oh man, we already see some cloaked stormtroopers called in on the field, and not upgrading them right away, but causing some serious damage to the Guardians anyways. And Ogren's coming onto the field as well, while Mr. Giddolo gets himself a Bright Lance team. Unfortunately, that's going to be the wrong decision because DSM is just going all infantry so far. No vehicles on the field. You always kind of want to get that Bright Lance early so you can have it set up and ready to take out that Chimera or whatever, Bane Wolf. You know, with the Inquisitor, you got to beware of that Bane Wolf. But you should know, he should take note that if these cloaked stormtroopers came onto the field, and you can't really be sure of that, but you can have a pretty good idea when they were called in. But, you know, DSM isn't going to have the red to call in both the Stormtrooper's cloak and the Bane Wolf right now. So there goes another booby trap. These catechins just placing booby traps all over the place. There's one down here on the VPs. That's where you most commonly see it, on those VPs, just like we saw with that catechins, or sorry, that shuriken squad. Getting a little mixed up with my squads here, but that's okay. It's been a couple months, just getting warmed up again. That Bright Lance takes a quick pot shot at that Sentinel, but it's going to be ultimately for nothing. Lost a member there. Bit of a mistake staying in, because of course they're just going to be able to repair that thing right back up. Ogren's stomping around already. Really got to make sure that these Wraithguards are supported by that Shuriken team with those Ogren's running around, because those Ogren's can get on those Wraithguard like nothing and just obliterate them. Oh man, Warlock retreating through all kinds of nasty stuff right there, and oh man, he's gotten decked out since we last looked at him. Got the Merciless Wishblade, the Champion's Robe, and the Heart of Darkness, so he's going to be extremely tanky right now. And that's the Jedi Master set right there. That term, of course, coined by Mr. Steve Bud, giving him the ability to tank and knock back and steal energy. Just a nasty fellow with all that stuff. Inquisitor now getting her Inferno Pistol, which gives her the Judgment ability and a nasty Melter range attack. Pretty long range on that and does nasty damage as well. So, really, Giddolo's kind of just struggling to keep up here. 478 to 244. really needs something to just kind of get out here and stay. Really needs to use that Shuriken weapons team to kind of take out these Ogrins and really get himself some field presence.
We're under attack.
Guardian's in a bad spot right now. Ogrins charging in. Starting to take some swings there. Those Guardians can't even retreat because they'll have to retreat right through the Ogrins, but getting knocked down is doing them no good either, losing a few members already. In the meantime, Warlock's trying to do some damage to these Catachans. Shuriken weapons team getting set up. That Inquisitor isn't on range, or isn't on melee version anymore. She needs to change her stance if she wants to engage that Shuriken cannon. Warlock charging around, trying to engage one of these Guardsman squads, while those Ogrins are suppressed. And really, these Guardians need to have battle equipment right now, because that whole time those Ogrins were suppressed, they could have dropped some grenades on them, causing some serious damage. Really, that upgrade's so cheap at this point. I feel like you gotta have battle equipment in Tier 2, and if nothing else, I mean, you want the Warlock. Here comes an Avatar, or sorry, an Autarch. Oh man, all these things, Avatars, Autarchs, Guardsmen, Guardians. I'm off my game, what can I say? Anyways, engaging these Ogrins, deciding it's not a good idea, jumps over to engage some Guardsmen instead. Gonna get some free hits on them while the Ogrins charge in, trying to cause some trouble. But that Autarch, obviously extremely mobile, just look at her flying away there. And we can see DSM calling a Manticore onto the field, and that's probably a good idea because the only thing that's really causing any grief at all at this point is that Shuriken platform. So you want to be able to knock out that Shuriken platform. And really, Wraith Guards are a pretty easy target too. They don't move quick at all. I mean, even with a Manticore, you can generally scare Wraith Guards off the field. With that heavy infantry armor, those Manticore shots just tend to obliterate them. Nice stomp from that Sentinel. Sentinel still on the field. Always good to see that still hanging out in Tier 2. It can make a big difference mid to late game, actually. A lot of people tend to discount them and they go down pretty quickly in Tier 2, but if you can keep them up, it's very useful. There goes the Silently ability again. Oh man, those Ogrins doing some nasty damage. Oh man, and here comes the first Manticore strike, and you see, even though those Wraith Guard were way out here on the edge of that firing arc, you can't take the chance. You just have to retreat them when you see that beacon go down and that artillery come in. So, oh man, and here come the Stormtroopers causing some more damage. They're not going to be able to stand up to that Warlock, though. Taking out one with each swing. That Warlock and Autarch running around causing some pretty severe damage to anything they encounter. Getting ready to fight these Ogrins right now. They're just going to charge in. Shuriken fire going down too, and man, look at the damage they're doing to that. One Ogrin goes down that quickly versus both of those powered melee hero units. So Inquisitor getting the Inquisitorial Mandate, making her, giving her the impenetrable ability. Man! And that, of course, essentially gives her the fleet of foot speed buff and then also makes her invulnerable for 10 seconds. So that'll be nice, allowing her to charge up on these platforms. That's really what DSM's doing right now, just trying to hard counter-tech these platform squads, which are the only thing that really slows down this infantry-based army. Plasma activated on both of these Guardsman squads. Really, they should have gotten the Commissar, I think, because the Plasma is really only going to be effective against these Wraith Guards up here, so it's an expensive upgrade that's really not necessarily worth it all that much. Here comes the Warlock just charging in. There goes the Heart of Darkness ability, recharging his energy and health. Man, just makes him such a tank at this point in the game. Really hard to get him off the field later on. Inquisitor trying to do some damage, drop Judgment to scare off those Wraith Guards, but man, look at that special attack, obliterating Guardsmen. Only two of them escaped from that. Warlock and Autarch just running the gambit right now, just kind of causing trouble to anything they encounter. And let's see, where are these Stormtroopers at? Stormtroopers just hanging out unupgraded. I know it's kind of impulsive to just want to upgrade these guys right away, but DSM's been using them very well, leading the vanilla. They still do very good anti-infantry damage while being vanilla. So you don't always have to upgrade the assault kit. Oh man, Sentinel getting very low. Oh, despite being stunned, the Warlock finished off his special attack and took down that Sentinel. Oh man, Shuriken platform firing just in time as that Warlock narrowly escaped with his life. The distortion field was dropped just to make sure, but that wouldn't have stopped this melee damage on him at all. So perfect placement of that Shuriken cannon. Look at these stormtroopers hanging out way back here, cloaked and getting some nice shots in on that Altark. Altark also having an energy shield right now. And between her and the Warlock, just able to run around and kind of take map as they please. Not really gaining much map control, but Giddolo's been doing a good job of trying to keep these rear rec points decapped and applying pressure wherever they can. Oh man! Oh no! Look at that beautiful shot from that Manicore. Oh, those Wraith Guards really need to get on that Manicore and take it out. That just cost at least a shuriken. Yeah, one of the shurikens went down. You can see Giddolo's buying that right back. The Bright Lance had to get out of there, severely injured, and everything else around there just taken a point-blank Manicore shot. A lot of people forget that the closer that rocket barrage is, the faster they come down. They have almost no flight time when you're firing that close to the vehicle itself. Of course, it's obviously a lot more dangerous to have the Manticore close to the fight because it is so frail. But unfortunately, for the Warlock, of course, he gets no real anti-vehicle weapons, so that Manticore doesn't have too much to be afraid of. The Altar can do some damage with that power melee, but really not enough on her own to take it out if it was to react quickly enough. Altark now trying to engage these Catechins, but they did go cloaked, and now they're choosing to engage. In the meantime, we've got in the middle the Warlock running around. Shuriken cannon set up, but just barely out of range right there. Unfortunately, they didn't quite target that Ogryn squad. Now they're backing off as the Manicore strike comes down. Looks like Altark had to fall back from that side of the map. Some nice shots going into those Ogryns. Unfortunately, this Brightlands team just not doing too well. It does do a little bit of damage to these Ogryns, but there's just no vehicles onto the field. That Brightlands is pretty much just going to get dedicated to capping right now. There goes some nice shots from those Wraith Guards, but unfortunately the Warlock has to fall back. Heart of Darkness must not be charged up quite yet, and those Ogryns, or sorry, these Wraith Guard have to fall back a little bit with this Inquisitor chasing them down. So 383 to 123, down by 250 right now for Giddolo over here. Gonna be pretty hard pressed to keep up right now with these Shuriken teams going down so quickly. Taking a lot of hurt right now. Two Shuriken platforms down, struggling to keep up. Now both players going into Tier 3. We're going to have to see if Giddolo can take back this map in time and keep everyone else off of it. Catechin's knocking that Altark off of the point. Altark's going to move in and try to engage, maybe take a couple of those Catechins out, but she's not going to be able to take those out. She's going to have to be very careful. She doesn't have the energy to jump out. She's retreating right through them, but oh man, she's quick enough that it doesn't really matter. Cloaked Stormtroopers moving in. Oh man, the Impenetrable ability activated, but the one thing it doesn't protect against is knockdown, so that Warlock using that ranged attack very usefully. Oh man! A Manicore strike completely obliterating. Oh my. Completely obliterating the Wraith Guards right there. One missile just took out all three members right there. Looking pretty brutal. Giddolo's now lost at least one Shuriken, a squad of Guardians, and now a Wraith Guard squad to that Manicore. That Manicore is just causing hurt and more hurt. Volley after volley, taking out complete squads. And it's kind of visceral, and you know, it's just what you want to do as Eldar to get these setup squads to kind of protect your position, especially with things like Ogryns on the field and Catechins. But with that Manicore on the field, you really got to be quick to react. Altark almost taking out a squad of Stormtroopers up there on the top VP. And now jumping in, attacking these Ogryns with the help of the Warlock. Guardians fleet of footing out of there, trying to draw those Ogryns around while the Warlock and Altark hack into them. Giddolo doing a good job of keeping these VPs neutral. Still sitting at 123, but needs to get some traction here on map control. And if nothing else, needs to take something out. Giddolo now purchasing a D-cannon. I just don't think that's the right choice. You need something mobile at this point to deal with that. I know it's scary to want to get a vehicle right now, especially with no detectors around to take out those Stormtroopers, because if he were to purchase a Fire Prism, of course, those stormtroopers would upgrade to Meltas no problem and come in and take it out without much issue unless you really babysit it. But at the same time, this D-Cannon is just going to probably fall to a Manticore Strike or some Cloaked Ogrins. Here comes, speaking of Manticore Strikes, Catechin's going stealth. Oh no, another complete platform down. Was that the Shuriken or that was the Shuriken again? Oh man, this D-Cannon now out of position because the Catechins are closing in on it. Meanwhile, the Warlock and Altark have been pushing DSM all the way back to his base. They really causing lots of damage on their own. Wraithguard now coming back onto the field, but geez, that Inquisitor picking off Guardian after Guardian. Guardian drops a quick grenade, tries to knock her off that point and buy a little bit of time. She dodges it perfectly, continues the cap, and not looking good for Giddolo at all right now. Fires off the explosive she had over here, the IAD, but didn't really do much to that Altar. Single unit target's not the best use for that. Warlock once again knocking that Inquisitor over. Just Giddolo playing very well, buying all the time in the world that he can, trying to prevent those VPs from going down. Nice looking special attack from the Warlock, knocking those Ogrins to the ground and doing some pretty nasty damage. Ogrins coming in, decide not to chase, curiously enough. Guardians just used that grenade, so it's probably on cooldown, but maybe just didn't want to chance that getting set up. Ogrins now charging back around the corner, trying to engage this D-Cannon. Another Shuriken team coming onto the field. I think that's the third or fourth Shuriken now purchased by Giddolo. And unfortunately, those platforms just aren't going to really be able to do too much against that Manticore. So these Ogrins are way too far up, but oh no, here comes a Rocket Strike. Oh, Guardians go down. And Shuriken goes down. Oh man, or no, the Guardians are still up. Where are they at? They're somewhere. I see. Oh, they probably hopped inside of that warp gate. Yeah, there they are. Excellent, excellent reaction time getting those Guardians into the warp gate. I thought they were obliterated by that Rocket Strike, but good play right there. And this warp gate, actually, by the way, he's been using the regeneration aura on that to heal a lot more quickly at home. Oh man, lots of fire going down on that Warlock. He had to instantly retreat. 66 points left, 330 for DSM. Not looking good for Giddolo at all. He's kind of been on his back foot the whole game. He doesn't have much time to get this game back in his favor. Nice D-Cannon shot there. See Guardsman bits all over the place. Meanwhile, Wraith Guards are falling down. This Brightlands needs to get the heck out of there. Oh, one shot right into the Brightlands platform from that Melta Inferno pistol, and that was it for the Brightlands team. 43 points left, a Singularity going down, but it's not going to hit anything. Point blank D-Cannon shot might hurt these Stormtroopers a good deal, though. And oh man, there goes some bits right there. But unfortunately, these Eldar setup teams just not pulling it off. You really need something else. Some Warp Spiders would probably be great. I don't know, just platform after platform going down to Manticores and Ogrins and every other thing. Again, using that Warlock ranged attack perfectly, even with that impenetrable ability on, and then interrupting the Hammer of the Witches. That Inquisitor's just going to have to fall back right now. 14 points ticking down. Altar gets a cap, stops that VP bleed, and now going to turn around and probably engage these Catechin Devils. They get the all-reliable, knock back that Shuriken platform, and the Altar's just going to go ahead and fall back and head to this side of the map. Unfortunately, that Shuriken just has too much to deal with on its own. Ogren's probably going to take it out. Another swing or two, and it's going to go down. Oh, no! So many dead Shuriken squads this game. Oh, Manticore gets another nice-looking strike on that one, and I think that's going to be the game for Mr. Giddolo. Oh, dear. That has to be 4 or 5 Shurikens that have died this game. So many downed platforms. I feel so bad, but those Manticore is just designed to stop those things from getting set up in this infantry-based Imperial Guard buildup. I mean, this composition is just, that's the only thing that's weak against is those setup teams, and that Manticore completely countered it. The Manticore and that Inquisitor armor, man, I don't see this used terribly often, but that Interrogator's armor can be so useful. We saw it used on the Inquisitor, the Catechins, the Ogrins, and then more cloaked shenanigans with the Stormtroopers. I know you don't want to get Rangers versus Imperial Guard, but man, sometimes it might just pay off a little bit. Lemon Russ on the field too. I mean, even if he had held this particular battle and pushed them back, that Lemon Russ and the Ogrins, everything, it was just too much for Giddolo to handle at this point in the game. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Red-Rupee. I'm back and ready to do some more casting. Hope you guys had fun. Let everyone know we're going again. Of course, for all of you new subscribers that aren't around, feel free to subscribe to my Facebook or Twitter feeds. I'm going to be posting on there once again. Going to be trying to get some casts going with Mr. Steve Budd and some other pro players once we get these Commander highlights going once again. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys next time.